Hi, this is Emma at the Vlog Lady, and today I'm going to talk about Twin Peaks. On one of my recent Twin Peaks videos on YouTube, someone commented, why don't you talk about the owls and what they mean in Twin Peaks? And I thought I would give that a go. I should point out that the owls that I'm talking about are the ones featured in seasons 1 and 2 of Twin Peaks. I don't know if they're going to appear in the revival much. I haven't seen much in terms of owls featured in merchandise, etc. As one of the classic symbols of Twin Peaks. You know, I've seen like logs, coffee, donuts, mountains, Laura. I haven't seen many owls yet, so I don't know their significance in the new series at all, if any. So basically, I want to start out by saying that Twin Peaks has always confounded me and confused me, and still does. There are mysteries in Twin Peaks that I still don't understand, and I think that perhaps that they have no answer. I think there are some things open to interpretation as well, and it's a little like the end of Lost, when everybody was expecting answers and they came up with like, what do the numbers mean in Lost? And it was Jacob just has a thing for numbers, and I was like, well, is that all there is, or is the explanation just left to the viewer? Sometimes I think that is the case. So today I almost did my vlog outdoors because I happen to live near a place called Owl Wood, and I thought that would be an appropriate place to do this vlog about the owls. But it started snowing outside. It's actually hailstoning right now. But the reason I was gonna do it outside was because I wanted to convey the kind of atmosphere in which the owls exist. You sometimes hear the owls through the daytime, and it's very disturbing. It's really weird because I think we associate owls with nighttime and darkness, and to hear them call in the day it just doesn't seem right. And I believe that owls are referenced throughout history as being a symbol of bad luck and darkness and evil. I know that Shakespeare references an owl calling in the daytime in Julius Caesar. It is used as a foreboding symbol, something evil is on its way. Personally, I've always found owls a little weird and dark. In the UK, we used to have Ladybird reading books, and the inside cover used to feature a nighttime scene with an owl sitting on a branch. And I guess this was to represent the idea that the stories were bedtime stories, were meant to be read to children at night. But whenever I saw the owl in this nighttime scene, I used to get freaked out a little bit, because it was like, is this what is prowling when I'm asleep in my bed at night? Is this what's sitting outside my window looking in? They are one of those creatures that are representative of the night and of darkness and of woods, of places that we would never dare go in the dark. They're also a predator bird. They feed off flesh to survive. They have a very haunting call. I hear them calling every night when I walk my dogs. It's a ghostly sound. Have you ever looked into the face of an owl? I mean, I have. My dog was hunting one day. There must have been an owl close to the ground, and she flushed it up, and it came flying at me, and flying right into my face, and I ducked right at the last minute. But I've never seen an owl's face like that in my life. It just looks like a human face, like it's very round, huge eyes, strange shape of a face, nothing like a bird really, nothing like any other bird. It's odd. It's a creepy face, and because you can see their eyes, they almost seem like they give you eye contact as well. This is like the vlog of a crazy person, but I'm sorry. That's what Twin Peaks does to you. These ideas are common amongst people. You know, I'm not the only one that feels this way about owls, and I think that's the reason why owls were chosen to be used in Twin Peaks as a symbol of mysterious things and the hidden side of things, and possibly representative of evil and nastiness and cruelty and so forth. So originally I did think that the owls were simply messengers of Bob and his crew, and I thought that maybe they were like a spirit animal for the evil side. On subsequent viewings, my view of this has changed, and now I think that the owls are actually vehicles for dark spirits. So let's start with the idea that the owls are in fact animal helpers for the dark spirits. There is a lot of animal imagery throughout Twin Peaks and Fire Walk with Me as well. We see horses appear in visions, we see the owls, we see monkey in Fire Walk with Me. What else? Some kinds of birds referenced. I think there's an argument to be made that instead of being vehicles for the dark spirits, that they are actually just messengers and helpers, because of the fact that I'm pretty sure that we get Mike's explanation about the parasitic spirits before we get the message of the owls are not what they seem. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. If Mike has already given an explanation about how the spirits attach themselves to living creatures on Earth, then why is the message sent? Because surely Cooper and whoever hears Mike talking about the parasitic spirits could put two and two together and realize that the owls could potentially be a vehicle for the spirits. I'm confusing myself here a little bit, I think. So in Twin Peaks, first of all, we have Mike. If you think about that conversation he had with Dale Cooper when he was forced to reveal who he was and who Bob was, and he talked about the parasitic spirits and the idea that they need to attach themselves to something to survive, and he talked of Bob needing a human host, which implies to me that the rest of them are able to use other hosts, such as animal hosts, and I think it's likely that the owls were used as hosts for these other spirits. If you think about Cooper, when he was shot and they found a tick on the bullet, a tick is a parasitic creature. There are wood ticks all around where I walk my dogs, and I've actually been bitten by a tick, and when they attach themselves to your body, you don't feel it. They sneak in there, and once attached, they this is disgusting. Once attached, they feed off your blood, and you know, they survive because of you. So I think of the evil spirits in Twin Peaks like the ticks. So I don't know what the rules are in regards to whether the parasitic spirits can attach themselves to creatures or humans without asking, because obviously there are different instances throughout Twin Peaks which don't give a definite answer to this. For instance, we hear Leland say that he was approached by Bob and he was basically asked,
"Do you want to play with fire, little boy?"
Something like that. And that is almost like, "Can I come inside you?" you know? And I think when he's dying he said, "I let him inside." So it's almost like he invited him in. And I think in regards to Laura, she was resisting Bob as well. But then if you look at Cooper later on, did he ever invite Bob in? I don't think we see a moment when he invites Bob. In regards to the owls, I do think that the tick analogy is a good one, in that actually the owls are probably used against their will. Perhaps the owls have attributes that make them suitable as hosts for the evil spirits. Perhaps their predatory nature is one reason why the spirits are attracted to them. Perhaps the fact that they are nocturnal is one of the reasons that they are attracted to them. Perhaps the spirits have a need for secrecy and isolation that only exists in the night. How do we know that the owls are actually hosts? Well, we see camera angles that are meant to be from the perspective of Bob as he's moving from host to host, right? So I assume that Bob and the other spirits have some kind of ethereal form that allows them to exist for short periods of time outside of the body of a host. A bit like a tick. After a tick is full of your blood, it drops off and it lies in the grass waiting for the next host to come along. So maybe that's what Bob and the other spirits do. Maybe once they've used their vessel, like they used up Leland, maybe then it's time to go to another host. There are references to the owls being present at important moments in Twin Peaks, as if the owls have sentience. The references in these cases imply that the spirits are able to control thought through the host. Certainly it seems like they did with Leland, like Bob was controlling Leland, controlling his thoughts, being dominant in personality type. So I imagine that with a creature like an owl that would be easier to do. Is it possible that the spirits have some kind of power to influence animals, to give them a higher intelligence than they ordinarily possess? Possible. If you think about the monkey that we see in Fire Walk With Me that supposedly speaks. So when I recently read Mark Frost's book, The Secret History of Twin Peaks, there was a lot of owl related stuff in there which made me think again about the owls, because of the fact that in the book there are references to like giant owls and things like that in relation to a giant race of people or spirits, which I think most fans will assume to be like the giant in Twin Peaks. So that suggests that the owl could actually be a form, like a shape-shifting form, which these spirits are able to assume. So that's another possibility. And of course there is some stuff about like Illuminati stuff in here where the symbol of the owl is used. I guess it represents power and intelligence and knowledge and privilege and position. I mean that stuff is true as well. They actually have like a giant owl, I think, at Bohemian Grove, where, you know, there's a famous picture of like Nixon and Reagan, I think, where they have this strange owl statue as if it's a deity that they bow down to and which they want to receive power from as well. So I don't know what the heck's going on there, but it's, I mean, that's real life stuff. I don't know if you can see that, but we have the owl with the Illuminati thing, Eye of Horus or whatever it's called, behind that. I mean, I think it's always going to be a question. In general, Twin Peaks has held on to a lot of mysteries, and I think that, you know, everybody always mentions the owls in regards to Twin Peaks. What do the owls mean? What does it mean the owls are not what they seem? Why are there always owls flying around, appearing in, you know, in key scenes? And I think that will always be a mystery. I think that Twin Peaks holds on to some mysteries, and I'd be very surprised not to see owls in season 3 in the revival of Twin Peaks, because they are so identifiable with the world of Twin Peaks. And yeah, that's it basically. Thank you for watching today. You can subscribe to my channel if you like Twin Peaks, David Lynch, Cult TV and more, and you can leave a comment below to tell me what you think of the owls, because I know that there are so many different interpretations. So let me know if you have something to say, and that's it. Goodbye.